TSA test number 7. This test is going to verify shorted interlock. We have 2 inputs on every interlock, so it's kind of a process, but we will go through and short out each individual interlock and the redundancy input and verify that we detect a failure. In order to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the mode button a couple of times, come to elevator status and hit enter. Once we are there, we're going to take a jumper, and we are going to take that jumper right above the CPU. There's a row of test jumpers, and we are going to go to TST6. Now if you notice, it's really tiny, but if you look right above the jumper, it's going to say DLT. That stands for door lock top. So we have to have the car positioned at the top floor, actually at the top access floor. Now that could be the top floor or wherever your top access is. So once we're aware of the top access floor, we're going to jump that TST6, which is the 4th jumper over. We're going to carefully put this jumper on. I got it on the 3rd one. I got to move it to the 4th one, which is TST6. All right. Once we have the jumper on TST6, we're going to register a car call at the top floor or that top access floor to open the doors. To do that, I'm going to hit mode a couple of times, which brings me to elevator status. I go down, which will take me to set up car calls and locks. I hit enter. I'm going to set up a car call by hitting enter. I'm going to scroll until I see the top access floor, and then I'm going to hit enter. Once I hit enter, if I hit mode a few times to bring me back to status and go to status, you'll see that it's a door lock top, opposite fault, gate and lock fault. When it's finished the fault, we're going to see the I/O error. Now, once the I/O error is detected, we can verify that the car won't run by registering a call to another floor. Once we have verified that the car won't run, in order to put the car back on automatic operation, we have to remove our jumper from TST6. And if you'll notice, we're at floor shutdown, which means that it is recognized and shut off, so the car still won't run until we reach up and put the car on inspection. Once the car is on inspection, we take it off inspection. When it's off inspection, it'll go through reset, and it will come back and go through the redundancies, and it will show that it's awaiting assignment, and after 60 seconds, it'll go back to automatic operation. This same procedure is done for all of the locks in the system. Now, at the top floor, we just did TST6, which is the top floor lock. The next one to do would be TST7, which is right beside it. And TST7 is the top floor lock, second contact or second input. And once you have tested that in the same procedure, then you would have to do the middle locks. And the middle locks are on TST8 and 9. TST8 and 9 are right next to TST6 and 7. That is your middle locks. So that is done with the car at the middle floor. After you have finished the test by putting the jumpers on the middle locks, you would go to the bottom access floor, and on the bottom access floor you would put on the next set of jumpers, which is going to be jumper number 10 and 11. And 10 and 11 are going to be just next to 8 and 9. Those are your locks for the bottom. After testing all of the hall locks, we now need to do the same thing for the gate switch on the car. In order to do the gate switch, we have to jump out TST 12 and 13. Again, we'll show you how this is to be done. 12 and 13 are over just a little bit to the right, and we're going to put a jumper on TST 12. With that jumper on TST 12, again, I'm going to go down and set up a car call. In this case, we happen to be at the top floor, so I'm going to register that call. I'm going to hit mode a few times to come back to elevator status. And now you'll see that we have a gate lock, GS and GS1 opposite fault. Now after a little bit of time, and again it's going to do it 3 times, you're going to see that it goes to IO error. Okay, it's going to show out of service, but when we put it back in service, we have to remove our jumper. Once we remove the jumper, you'll notice that we're at floor shutdown. So in order to get the car back in automatic operation, again we have to go to inspection, and off inspection, it'll go through its redundancy test, and we will come back to waiting assignment. After 60 seconds, we'll go back into automatic service. Now this needs to be done for the second input, which is 13. We did 12. It's the same procedure for 13. If you had rear locks, then the other 2 jumpers that are right there are for the rear locks. And if you had rear doors, you'd have to do the same thing for the rear locks, or the rear gate switch. The rear gate switch is 16 and 17, which is right next to the front gate switch test jumpers. As well as you'd have to test the rear hall locks. And if you go back over to the other row of jumpers, that's going to be TST 14 and 16. Same procedure for all of the locks and the gate switches. And that verifies that if you have a shorted lock, that it will detect it. If an input fails, you'll detect it, the car will shut down, and you are safe.